Let me start with a question. What if your child's everyday kindness could shine like a lantern in the dark? Because truly, even just a tiny bit of light pierces darkness. Welcome back to Storyformed Families, where we believe the stories we live and share can shape our homes with God's light. Today I'll present 3 simple ways we can help our kids shine God's light right in the middle of everyday family life. Jesus said in Matthew 5:16, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." This isn't just for grown-ups, our kids are included too. When Jesus told us to let our light shine, he wasn't talking about working harder or trying to look good. He was pointing to the way God's goodness shows through us, because every child is made in his image. And when a child chooses to follow Jesus, the Holy Spirit helps that light shine even brighter, turning everyday acts of kindness and courage into a reflection of God's love. The first step is simple. Notice the spark. Shining begins when we see the little ways God's light shows up in our children's actions. It might be when they share a toy, comfort a sibling, or whisper a prayer before bed. Paul reminds us in Galatians 5:22-23 about the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. When we see even the tiniest sprout of that fruit in our kids, that's a spark worth naming. For example, a mom once told me her daughter offered half her sandwich to a friend at lunch. No one told her to do it. She simply noticed someone was hungry and shared. That's God's light shining in her heart. Try this tonight. Watch for one small moment when your child shows kindness or patience. Pause and name it out loud. "I saw you help your brother." That was kindness shining. This is where the pause plus name steps of the calm discipline framework help. We pause, notice what's happening, and then name it clearly. If you'd like to explore the calm discipline framework more fully, I've linked a free guide below. In just a few minutes, you can learn how the steps work and begin practicing them in your home. Now, back to helping our kids shine. In the name step, we simply notice and call something out. In this case, we notice the spark in our child, and that's how a spark begins to glow brighter. Stick with me until we get to the final step: celebrate. It's a good journey. The next point is summed up in providing a place for kids to shine. Jesus said, "No one lights a lamp and hides it under a basket. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house." In Matthew 5:15. Our kids need places where they can practice shining. If their light is always hidden, it grows dim. But when they're given safe, open spaces, their light grows stronger. This doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe your child prays at dinner, even if it's just 2 words. Maybe they greet a neighbor. Maybe they share a drawing at church or help pass out napkins at snack time. I know one dad who let his young son hand out the bulletins at church. The boy's whole face glowed as people smiled at him. That little job gave him a place to shine. Here's a simple choice you could offer. Would you like to share your drawing on our fridge, or bring it to grandma? Either way, their light is being seen. This connects to the story plus choice steps of the framework. We tell our family's story, or our family's identity. We say, "In our family, we show love." And then we give our children real choices to live that story out. That's how their lamp comes out from under the basket. Finally, celebrate the glow. Light grows stronger when it's celebrated. Not with trophies or stickers, but with gentle words that connect their actions back to God. When your child forgives quickly, you might say, "That's God's light in you. I'm so glad you let it shine." Or when they stand up for a friend, "That was brave. God's courage is shining through you." This doesn't just affirm their behavior, it roots their identity in God's truth. They begin to believe, "I really am a light bearer." You could even make a nightly ritual. During bedtime prayers, ask, "Where did you shine God's light today?" Maybe they'll remember sharing crayons or helping with dishes. Celebrate those little glows. In the calm discipline framework, this is the celebrate step. It's not about rewarding performance. It's about saying, "I see you and I see God in you." That's what helps their light keep glowing. Helping kids shine doesn't mean piling on pressure. It's not about making them perform. It's about slowing down to notice the sparks, giving them places to glow, and celebrating the moments when God's light shines through their hearts. When we do this, our homes begin to reflect Jesus' words, "A city on a hill cannot be hidden." Even small lights, together, can brighten a whole family. Before I share today's free resource, let me pause for a quick behind-the-scenes note. First, If staying calm is hard for you or your spouse, you are not alone. God isn't asking us to be perfect. He's inviting us to practice a rhythm. That's why our framework begins with pause, because God meets us in the breath before the words. And here's something I've been learning. There's a difference between routine and rhythm. Routine is rigid, like the ticking of a clock. Rhythm is alive, like the flow of a river or the beat of a song. One can feel like pressure, the other like grace. Our families need rhythm, the kind that makes space for God's Spirit to move. On a personal note, my daughter is an artist, just like me. Sometimes our artwork feels alive, like it's reaching beyond the page. And every once in a while, those paintings seem to leap into real life, almost as if God whispers through the brush strokes. Our ways of creating may look different, some with paint and pen, others with digital tools. Yet together, they weave a kind of harmony, because God teaches us as we create with Him. And my goal is always to offer stories filled with wisdom and safety. You might notice a few little glitches, a book flipped upside down, or something that doesn't quite make sense. The tools, like me, aren't perfect, but what matters is the light of the story shining through. Earlier I mentioned the Calm Discipline Toolkit. If you haven't grabbed it yet, the link is below. It's a simple way to bring story and rhythm into your family's discipline. And if you want a story to watch together, I'd love for you to click over to Little Ember's video. In our families, we can shine like ember when we feel small, remembering that even the tiniest spark matters. And we can be like Paul and Silas, praising God and trusting Him to deliver us even in the darkest night. That's the rhythm God invites us into, light and praise that cannot be hidden.